What is separation and why do we call it an illusion? In presence, in reality, in our true nature, everything just is. There is no subject or object, because in its core, everything is presence. Everything is the substratum of all experience. And that is who we really are. So when out of this oneness of presence, the notion of I arises, a notion or thought or a sense, because when you really sense into the I, it's a little more than a thought, right? So when that arises, that notion in itself is not a problem, because it is just like a wave in the ocean. It arises and it falls, right? It arises and it falls. It's still the water, it's still the ocean, right? However, when that notion of I, when that sense of I, when that thought, I thought arises here, because of millions of years of habit, because of millions of years of conditioning, we almost automatically identify ourselves as that. And that belief, that identification, is what causes separation. And ultimately, that belief is what causes suffering. So of course we can, and we need to investigate this sense of I very directly. Because that sense of I is not permanent, it's not solid, that's what we believe, right? We believe it's permanent or solid. And that's why, we don't investigate it, right? But if you investigate it directly, you're going to see, that it really is transparent. And even, right now, when you're sitting and when you really sit in a deep sense of silence, is the sense of I even here, right? Or does it arise at some point, at some moment, right? And as that, because it does arise and it falls, it's just like any other object that arises in presence. So when we investigate the sense of I directly, and especially when in your inquiry, but also in your day-to-day life, when we look at that, we often find what I call survival strategies, which is a very strong combination. It's a combination of the sense of I and the survival instinct that arises in this body. And you know already how strong that survival instinct is, right? Because there is, chemical reactions and hormones being released, and there's things going on in your brain and in your nervous system, and that makes it look very, very real. And that combination of that sense of I and the survival strategies makes it very, very strong. And so oftentimes, by identifying those, by becoming aware of those, because when that survival instinct is present, it looks so very real, and it looks like the survival of this body is really at stake, and even though you might not be conscious of it a lot of the time, but it really draws your attention, It's one of those habits that we so often rely on. So when we can identify it, when we can become aware of it, when we can investigate it, together with investigating very directly the I thought or the I sense, that's how we can break the illusion of separation. So I will be speaking more about this. and about other things as well, including the meditation on completing the past this coming Sunday. Even right now, as you are sitting here, you can just simply notice that sense of I. And remember, don't notice it just mentally, but really notice it as an experience in this body. Good, good. And when you directly put your attention on it, beautiful, beautiful. Just see what happens then. So again, I will be speaking about this and more, and we'll be practicing together this coming Sunday, and I hope to see you there.